it is 9 p.m. in RTD. It's time to English New Edition. For tonight headlines, we have the rural youth committed to a sustainable future. A trilateral appeal for justice and peace in Palestine. Welcome to our newsroom. The messages of congratulations from the President of the Republic to his counterpart from the Republic of India. The Head of State, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, has sent a message of congratulations to the President of the Republic of India, Madam Draupadi Murmu, whose country is currently celebrating its National Day. I wish you, Madam President, success as well as greater well-being, prosperity, and fulfillment for the friendly people of India, wrote President Guelleh in the message sent to Madam Murmu. The celebrations of India's National Day is an auspicious occasion for the Indian nation to show its pride in the fact that it has long since achieved sustainable, irreversible development, wrote President Guelleh. You may rest assured, Madam President, that you will always find in the people and government of Djibouti all the support you need to strengthen relations of friendship and cooperation between our two nations. He continued reiterating his best wishes to all the friendly people of India. The launch of the final stage of the Green Economy training course took place at the Girori Community Development Center for 40 young people from the rural community of Girori, Dafeinaitu, and Adelu. The main objective of this training is to give the young girls and boys benefiting from it the skills and tools they need to become an active agents of change in their respective community. In collaboration with the Ministries of Environment and Sustainable Development and the Ministry of Agriculture, Livestock, Fishery, Waters, and Fishery Resources, this introduction to the field of green economy will help rural youth from all these localities to adopt a responsible and conscious approach to environmental protection while integrating new prospects for employment, sustainable development, and economic diversification. This initiative was led by the Ministry of Youth and Culture to round off the summer activities launched at the beginning of June. A strong delegation headed by the technical advisor Asli Muhammad in attendance with the Honorable Regional Elected Representative Muhammad Ibrahim Lubak, as well as the village chief of Girori locality, Hassan Muhammad Iwada. An evening celebrations of the end of 14 days training courses on theatrical art techniques was held last night at Salin, attended by young people from Djibouti and Somalia, 12 Djiboutians and 10 Somalis who had the opportunities to acquire valuable skills and develop their understandings of theaters as a powerful tool for cultural expression. The ceremony was attended by the INPC General Directors Muhammad Hussein Douale, Mogadishu National Theatre, Marketing Manager Abdurrahman Muhammad, and theatrical arts experts Amin Nasuri and Dr. Tariq Haroubi. The training was given by Moroccan trainers and professionals renowned in the theatrical field who brought their expertise and know-how to the participants. Afterwards, the young learners presented prepared plays with dances and songs to closing the evening with certificate for the young participants. Since the opening of the Djibouti Islamic Bank in 2006, Islamic financing has undergone a remarkable evolution, and all the more so the Central Bank of Djibouti has supported and developed the operations of this banking establishment. Listen for more details.
In order to respond to society's desire to find channels for banking transactions outside the use of interest rates, the Republic of Djibouti, on the initiative of the President of the Republic, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, has opened the door to Islamic banks, which started since 2006 to provide banking and investment services under the Sharia law. Since then, Islamic banks have attracted many customers who have found the possibility of meeting many of their economic aspirations, while the products of certain traditional banks have become traditional products and without them converting to their requirements. Indeed, Islamic finance, which is in accordance with the provisions of Sharia law, binds the way of obtaining and using funds, while traditional financing is separated, and Islamic financing contracts therefore always establish a link between the sources of access to money and the monitoring of their use and investment. In the context of the global health and economic crisis that has made millions of victims of extreme poverty, Islamic social financing has offered the opportunity to provide emergency support for the fight against poverty, economic recovery, the fight against the COVID 19 pandemic, and the promotion of sustainable development. According to the government of the Central Bank of Djibouti, Mr. Ahmed Usman, the assist managed by Islamic Finance, which is estimated at nearly 200 billion US dollars in 2021 and currently exceeds 3 trillion US dollars. In recognition of the leading role played by Islamic banks in Djibouti, in namely Sabah African Bank, Salam African Bank, as well as East African Bank, where the first received the International Commerce Award in Islamic banks, the second won the award for Human Capital Development in Islamic Financial Institutions, and the third the award for financing SMEs. This was done during the International Islamic Finance Awards Jeva ceremony during its 12th session, which was held at the Kempeski Hotel under the high patronage of His Excellency, the President of the Republic, Mr. Ismail Omar Gelle, in September 2022. One of the best known formulas of Islamic finance, Murabaha, which is one of the products of Islamic banks, have been adopted as an alternative banks to have been system and contributes effectively to the promotion of society and to the establishment of investment and development projects compatible with the principle of the universality of banking operations. The head of South African Bank in Djibouti explains to us the progress of Islamic finance in Djibouti and the progress it has made for more than a decade and a half. The Director of Local Finance and Investment Department of South African Bank, Mr. Amin Abdullah, said that Islamic finance means providing financial services in accordance with Islamic law and its principles and rules, emphasizing that Islamic banking is completely different from the traditional banking in several respects. Speaking about these differences, he asserted that traditional banks mainly borrow on predefined interest rates, unlike Islamic banks. On the other hand, Mr. Amin Abdullah pointed out that Murabaha is the predominant formula in most Islamic banks to its facility of condition, where the bank buys the commodity that the customer needs at its sources and then resells it to the customer, provided that he pays the amounts due in installments and within a specific period. Although the demand for Islamic finance is significant, there is a need to increase awareness about Islamic finance products to keep pace with their growth in the markets and to address the lack of awareness among individuals about the characteristics of these Islamic products.
Still within the framework of the Summer Games, the village of Sagalu brought its sporting activities to a close yesterday. A high-class final between the Sagalu and the Dulu teams was organized in front of a massive crowd in support of their respective teams. During regulation times, both teams put on a top-class show, demonstrating their talent and determination throughout the matches on the Sagalu Palm Pitch. In the end, it was the Dulul teams who emerged victorious with a score of 1-0 after a very close matches, despite a clear second half domination by the Sagalu team. The tournament was a real success, offering local youngsters an opportunity to practice their favorite sport and promote camaraderie and sportsmanship. The organizers expressed their satisfaction at the overwhelming participation and support from the local communities. This marks the end of the Summer Games, which will remain etched in the memories of the participants and spectators alike, said one of the village elders at the end of the ceremony, adding that the young player gained experience and were able to measure themselves against teams and from different localities, reinforcing their passion for sports and their personal development. Adelu, one of the sub-prefectures of the Tajora region, is known as a cradles of entire civilizations. Hence, the nickname is capital of Great We'ima. The village of Adelu is located some 63 kilometers from the towns of Tajora. Its population varies between 4,500 and 5,000, depending on the season. Its entire territory enjoys a natural environment that is conducive to agriculture, livestock breeding, and tourism. The village of Adelu boasts all the basic infrastructure needed for the socio-economic development of the ancestral villages, such as a general high school twining with the village middle school, a health center, a community development center, and several other social and social structures. During the summer months, the village of Adelu is set to expand, with its population is doubling dramatically. During this season, the sub-prefectures organizes a number of events, most of them important to keep the village's youngsters and holidaymakers occupied as they come to breathe the village's fresh air and enjoy its verdant gardens. But one of the flagship event organized by the young people of Adailu under the banners of the NGO EVA is the inter-regional friendship tournament, which this year is blowing out its 11th candles, headed by its president Ahmed Mohamed Ali Kabir. This tournament sees the participations of young people from the 5 regions of the interior. Every year on the menu for this tournament are several sporting competitions, individual and team disciplines, as well as traditional games. In this adventure, the NGO EVA is supported by the Ministries of Youth and Cultures, which has made every effort to ensure the success of this important event. Until August 19, Adailu will be the capital of summer sports, and the people in charge of the NGO and the villages are already preparing to welcome hundreds of young athletes from the 5 regions, as well as many other distinguished guests and supporters. The head of the NGO EVA organization, Mr. Ismail Muhammad Ali, recalled in this interview that all the conditions were in place to make this event a success. The accommodations and meeting facilities were needed to welcome the hundreds of young people who would be enjoying the fresh airs of Adailu. He thanked all those involved in organizing the event. And a local resident of Muhammad Ahmad Ismail told us that he was proud and honored to welcome his compatriot from other region, and that the whole village was mobilized to make their stay unforgettable. The various delegations of young people from the regions will be in Adairu today at the start of the evening, and will be welcomed by the heads of the NGOs and the heads of the villages and the Ministry of Youth and Culture. Lana is one of our audit and inspection towers of the mineral waters production plant, warehouses, and stores in the 5 interior regions. The tower began yesterday in Altas region in collaboration with the prefectures, and elements of the gendarmerie were able to inspect the various points of sales of foodstuffs, namely large warehouses, stores, and food retailers. The laboratory health inspectors found a number of violations relating to storage, conservation, and expiration date. All these out of date and unfit for consumption food product were seized and destroyed in accordance with the current health regulations. In addition, the Lana Mobile Brigade was able to inspect the infrastructure and equipment, as well as the manufacturing process, and the Sodicom plant, which produced the mineral water known as bio. This operation is enabled Lana's Mobile Brigade to focus on hygiene at all stages of the bottled water production chain, from borehole water collections to bottle filling and packaging. We also reviewed the plant's documentation and traceability systems. Finally, Lana's mission is to ensure the foodstuff to protect the consumers' health. The manager of the bio factory, Mr. Giri Aye, began by recalling that the Lana Mobile Health Brigade had visited the Sodicom factories, which produces the mineral waters known as bio. He emphasized that Lana regularly carried out inspections, visits, and that enjoyed a perfect working relationship. Finally, he thanked Lana's Mobile Sanitary Brigade team for their advice and expertise in bottled water production hygiene. Mr. Hussein Ibrahim Hamadou, the head of the Sanitary Control Department of Lana's Mobile Brigade, pointed out the LANA's management had launched food sanitary control operations in the five interior region. He pointed out that this inspection is part of the training and support programs for the professionals in the agri-food sector. During the inspections, LANA's mobile sanitary brigade inspected sales outlets and Sodicomb's factory, which produces bio-mineral waters. Divergent fact to close the national news, a collision of rare violence between the two heavy truck vehicles occurred shortly before 9 p.m. on the Dorale Slip Road near the Golden Africa Company, speeding HIV, attempting to overtake, swerved into the opposite lane, crossing the central reservations before colliding head on the on another truck coming from the opposite directions. This sudden impact caused the driver's immediate death. Immediately, the Gendarmerie's road safety squad mobilized considerable human and material resources to the scene. Traffic was blocked and a safety detour set up. Several special rescue vehicles from the national directions of the civil protections were also deployed to extricate the deceased motorist who was trapped in the cab of this vehicle. The Gendarmerie National Lift Crane removed the wrecked trucks from the roadway, which was opened to traffic after more than 4 hours. The drivers of the second trucks was evacuated to emergency medical care. Once again, excessive speeds and dangerous maneuver caused loss of life on this roadway. Has increased vigilance and strict compliance with the provisions of the highway code are therefore called for to limit the risks of accidents as much as possible. As part of the fight against smuggling, the Ali Sabih Customs Brigade, in collaboration with the elements of the Ali Sabih Gendarmerie Brigade, intercepted a large quantity of smuggled goods near the outskirts of the town of Ali Sabih. The merchandise seized on this occasion is consisted of 27 cattle collies with an estimated total weight of 2,300 kilograms Royal brand cigarette cartons. These are imports from which the state collected no taxes. Moreover, these products are transported by unscrupulous traffickers who often bypass boundaries posted through the countries. This representative a real threat for country services economy, and on to the state's foundation is declared the chief of the Ali Sabih Customs Brigade, Mohammed Ige Turaba. For the international scene, COVID is making its comeback. So 1.17 millions, 1.5 additional. The tripartite ceremony between the Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and Jordan President Abdullah II is the central piece of the This is it for the news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.